again, this is the first game of day 2 for our 2025 JRDA National Championships. And our two teams are Columbia versus Pittsburgh, going for 5th place. Starting us off with our Pittsburgh team, they are wearing white today. That is number 06, the Kraken, 1-2, Strawberry Jam, 1-3, Sirius, 1-7, Deer Dance, 3-2-6-0, Big Rig, 3-3-1-7, Richie Teaser, 3-4, Rubinator, 4, El Diablo, 4-1-2, Bandelion, 5, Lakeinator, 5-5, Bigfoot, 5-6, Violet Von Slaughter, 8, Forest Bump, who is the captain, 8-1-10, Biohazard, and finally 9-2-8, Ace of Skates.
And for our junior roller derby for Columbia, we have number 007, Mad Danger, number 101, Soul Crusher, number 113, Thomas the Train, number 14, Roland Riesma, number 17, Chublakya, number 23, Botalicious, number 241, Hippo, number 399, Imp the Shrimp, 5000, Killman, number 6, Thug Buggerson, number 64, Kid Block, number 7718, Go-Go, and number 934, Tank.
All right, now that we've got introductions out of the way, we can take a look at the track here. Looks like we have our first skaters taking the floor here for each team. That looks like it's number 5000 from Columbia. That is Killman wearing the star first for Columbia, going up against Bigfoot from Pittsburgh. All right, referees are in position, and we are ready to get going with game number 7 of our JRDA 2025 championship.
5000 Killman. Number 6, Thug Buggerson. 64.
All right, players are moving back onto the jam line. Our rolling whistle has sounded. 5 seconds is called. It looks like the pack is backing up onto the jam line, and we are off. Both jammers take the outside line at first. Bigfoot jukes to the inside. Killman also fighting for the inside, but gets hit out and run back by a Pittsburgh blocker. Bigfoot fighting up at the front of the pack here. Rounds the tripod, jumps in front, gets a cut penalty. Power jam now. Your Columbia jammer, Killman, is lead jammer, coming around now on the first scoring pass. And with a full power jam, this may be a great first start for Columbia.
You can see how Columbia is pulling back one of the skaters here to keep the pack in the back.
Yes, and it works because Killman just pushes past farther than they can skate and gets 4 points. Coming around now, looks like he's going for the middle of the track. His blockers helpfully break that whole tripod apart. A lovely spin on the inside line has another 4 points for Columbia. It looks like Bigfoot is standing in the box. He's coming out now. Our power jam has officially ended, but Bigfoot is still on initial, so he's going to have a hot minute to catch back up to Killman, who has, made it into the penalty box. Maybe this is just what Pittsburgh needs. 47 seconds left in the jam. It will run the full distance, and there will not be a power start unless another jammer gets a penalty. There goes Bigfoot, finishing initial with about 40 seconds left in the jam. Our pack has moved over the jam line, so it's gone a full rotation now. The blockers are coming in for offense. Successful. That is the first 4 points on the board for Pittsburgh. Killman stands in the box. He's ready to head back out onto the track.
You can see Pittsburgh here showing that they have some really good offense, keeping this all together.
Yes.
Pittsburgh getting themselves back together, though, as Killman's coming on through. Both of our jammers making it out.
Yes, that is a close pass there. 12 points now for Columbia and 8 for Pittsburgh. 4 seconds left on the clock. I don't think we're going to have any more points in this jam. And we are not. That was a very impressive and high point first jam there with double jammer penalties.
Yes, we had 2 penalties that whole jam. Both the jammer penalties, 1 for each team.
Yes.
And it looks like Columbia came out on top, though, with 12-8. We have number 13, Sirius, and number 6, Bug, on the line. You want to do that the whole time, like, even talking about it? Both of our teams here taking some spills, but Sirius is the one to make it up and out. Bug is going to be right behind, though. Pittsburgh getting some help from the coaches here, saying points and call, points and call. Pittsburgh does it. Sirius collecting 2 points there and calling before Columbia can get anything.
All right, it looks like we have number 17 wearing the star for Columbia. That is Chublakia. Going up against, once again, we got Bigfoot on the line for Pittsburgh.
Now, we saw yesterday Pittsburgh putting Bigfoot and Sirius out almost every other jam. And
yes, it looks like they may be running that once again today. Making the best you can with the best jammers on the team. And it is working because there goes Bigfoot out of the pack with the lead. However, Chublakia is only about 30 feet behind, both exiting their initial pass. They're coming around now and hitting a stopped pack right at the outside of turn number 2. Quickly starts running. Bigfoot gets hit out of turn number 3, calls the jam off. Once again, another quick point and call jam for Pittsburgh. That was 3 for Pittsburgh and 0 for Columbia, bringing our score up now 13-12 Pittsburgh. So first lead change of the game. Hopefully we'll get a lot more of those, right?
I would like to see a nice game here. We have number 13, Sirius, on the line for Pittsburgh, and number 6, Doug Buggerson, on the line for Columbia.
Looks like Sirius and Bigfoot to Pittsburgh is what Bug is to Columbia.
Yes, both of these jammers are going to the inside line here. Bug getting ran back. Sirius is going to make it all the way up and out of the pack, collecting lead jammer here.
Pittsburgh is doing a great job getting consistent leads in this game so far.
Yes, they have gotten all of the leads except the first, and they have capitalized on all of them.
Yes.
Quick points and call. Collecting 3 points there, and Pittsburgh is going to widen that gap.
Yes, it looks like maybe the first jam of the game was going to be the highest point one. We'll have to see. I mean, probably not. It was only 12 points, but we're staying pretty low so far. So a lot of control here from the teams. We got Killman for Columbia on the line, and once again, Bigfoot for Pittsburgh. It looks like Columbia has been trying to trap Pittsburgh back on the jam line there, moving back at 5 seconds, but it is not working for them because once again, Pittsburgh gets lead. That's Bigfoot flying out of the pack in less than 3 seconds. Whew. He's coming around now, hitting the tripod over the jam line on the first scoring pass, right as Killman makes it out on initial. However, Bigfoot just passes those 4 blockers and once again, calls it before Pittsburgh can get any calls it before Columbia can get any points. Another 4-point jam to Pittsburgh.
Now, I see Pittsburgh starting off hot here, getting a lot of points, but Columbia is doing a 3-jammer rotation compared to, well, let me get that wrong, I guess. Looks like we now have
a new jammer for Pittsburgh.
Number 17 on the line, Deer Dance on the line for Pittsburgh, and number 17 on the line for Columbia.
Hey, battle of the 17s, huh? Let's see if Pittsburgh will be able to keep their lead streak going.
Deer Dance gets hit out and run back. Chublakia is pushing this pack up and out of play.
Ooh.
Deer Dance takes a nice fall, and Chublakia is going to be the one out first with lead.
Yes, that's Columbia getting lead for the first time since the first jam.
Chublakia is going to hit this wall and decide to keep playing it.
Ooh, that was a great run and slide. Some awesome track awareness from Deer Dance. Actually has them lapping your lead jammer there. That causes that jam to get called by your Columbia jammer. And 4 points for each team.
Yeah, 4-4.
Yes, Columbia may have been able to get lead, but they were not able to pull off the quick 4 points and call it that Pittsburgh has been excelling at.
And I think Columbia honestly was wanting to play it there.
Yes. All right, we're back to our normal Pittsburgh jammers. That's number 13, Sirius, wearing the star for Pittsburgh, going up against, once again, Killman for Columbia. Got a quick official timeout on the track. I think the referees are just talking to the scorekeeper, so hopefully that should be through and done pretty quickly. I don't know. Yes, I don't know if any of you were here last night, but we're all fingers crossed that we're not going to have another 45-minute break in the middle of a game. That said,
Yes, there were some technical difficulties
yes,
yesterday
a huge
afternoon.
thank you to all the officials who work through all those. You know, it's rough for the skaters, rough for the audience, but it is the worst for the officials because they don't even just get to sit tight and wait for it's over. They're the ones who have to solve it. So, how about we run over a quick roster of those officials, actually? Yes, we have 7 skate refs at each game, on skate officials, and those guys are going to be Illinois, Adam Splitter, Nick Tater, Sydney Vicious, Whisk, and Judge Double Wapner, and Shebra. And then finally, our NSOs, or non-skating officials, we got Officially Mel, Rocket Chop, Gnome Skull, Pterodactyl, Ivana Rage, Bionic Envy, Asylum, Anya Arson, and Diva. So, yeah, a huge thank you. We actually have 16 officials for every game, which is more than one team of skaters because only 15 on a team. So that just goes to show how much goes into putting these games on, and big thank you to everyone who wears the stripes and all the volunteers who don't. And there's that roll and whistle.
There is that roll and whistle. We have number 13 Sirius on the line for Pittsburgh and 5000 Killman. Both of our teams deciding to start here at the jam line.
Yes, they're not giving the jammers any room to get
Killman making
speed
it
up.
out first here.
Yes, it
is
looks
gonna
like he
collect
didn't
lead.
need that speed.
Hit the seams and went right through the middle. Sirius making it out, but it's almost a whole track length here. So Killman's going to have a lot of time. He's going to get hit out, though, and call it off.
But he did pick up 4 points before he did that. Columbia pulling up Pittsburgh here with a successful 4 and done. I think that might be their first one of the game that they've pulled off.
Yeah, the first 4-0.
Yes,
jam.
and that is closing our point gap a little bit. Now only 1 scoring pass in between the two teams, 20-24 Pittsburgh. So hopefully we'll get a lead change here. That would certainly be fun. Anyways, we got number 6, Bug, on the line for Columbia, and once again, Bigfoot for Pittsburgh. Bigfoot runs for the inside line. The Bug just takes the middle of a tripod, trying to fight their way through. Bug is successful, however, Bigfoot really catches him on the inside corner and ends up pulling in front. So Columbia does have a lead, but the Bigfoot is in front of the jammer race. Our pack is flying as the blockers rush to preserve points. They're lapping the track all the way a lap and a half around. Both jammers fly for the inside line. Both take massive falls. Does look like Bug jumped up and fell inbound, so he's good to get up and keep skating, whereas Bigfoot takes a big fall on the inside of the track. Takes a couple seconds getting up. He's now a lap behind Bug, who is fighting for the second scoring pass. Is successful. That is a no-earned pass, so 3 points on that pass for Columbia. Bigfoot unfortunately gets hit out, run back again on the corner of turn number 2. Oh, referee collision
yeah,
there.
a little referee contact, but
Yes, that was...
that's going to stop Doug Buggerson with that beautiful apex jump.
Yes, that was Bug's jam ref skated straight into Bigfoot. An unfortunate part of Derby and why those referees wear pads. Anyways, Bug's coming around now for a 4th scoring pass. Bigfoot finally makes it out of that first one and is coming around to hopefully regain some lost ground, but looks like Bug is through again and just calls the jam right there. That was a great jam for Columbia. 14 points to Pittsburgh's 4. And hey, look at that, you guys. That's that lead switch we were looking for. It's now Columbia 34, Pittsburgh 28. So looks like our wishes may be confirmed, and we're going to have a nice close game today.
We're having a little official review at the moment.
Yes, it looks like Pittsburgh team is calling this one. I don't know what it's about. Did you catch anything that could be official review worthy?
I think, if anything, it was the no pass, no penalty that Bug collected. Because when Bug went out of bounds there was a couple other skaters that might have had position. So
Hey, I was right, you guys. They were looking for a cut on the Pittsburgh was looking for a cut on the Columbia jammer for the first corner.
yeah, I believe it possibly could have been that no pass, no penalty moment.
Maybe it was. We were both right. Look at us go. It's like we know the sport. Who knew? However, the
Gosh,
referees
I think
did
we're qualified or something.
The referees did have a much better view of that corner than we did, and they said that no cut happened. So Pittsburgh loses their official review, and we are back to the game. Is that Sirius that we have on the line for Pittsburgh?
Yes, serious,
think
and it
that
looks
is.
like Chublakia.
All right, fun jammer lineup to get back into the game. Do you want to take this one, Cosmic?
I got it. Both of our teams rolling back on these jammers here. looks like Sirius is going to get hit out and come back in collecting a cut track penalty. So Chubalakia is going to be our lead jammer and is going to be on a power jam here for Columbia.
Columbia had a great time with the last power jam. Let's see if they can further their lead with this one.
Now, what they got to do is not get a jammer penalty like last time.
For sure, but so far that's not looking like a problem because there's the first 4 points on the board for Columbia.
Yeah, Chubalakia getting all the way through there, collecting some points.
You can see those Columbia blockers now able to play your offense, not having to worry about the jammer.
Looked like
Oh, look at that. Another jammer penalty.
looks like it was a cut track here.
Another cut track.
So Sirius is gonna now
Serve time in the box.
Be, you're on a power jam here for Pittsburgh.
Yes, no lead jammer, so we will run the remaining 1 minute. And it looks like another no pass, no penalty for 3 points. We're getting a lot of those in this game.
We are. Yeah, a lot of no earned passes.
Oh, right, my bad. They changed the
No.
name of that rule, and I am struggling to keep up with it, so I apologize, you guys.
They've changed it not too long ago. For everyone watching who might know roller derby, no pass, no penalty is still widely known, but
Another forearm. Yes,
Another
anyways, no
forearm,
pass, no
yeah,
penalty is
sorry,
now
we're
known
watching some
as no
derby
earned
here.
pass, but is the same rule. Us announcers are really struggling with that, so we apologize. And another jammer penalty. Chubalakia in the box with a forearm this time, not a cut. And another power jam for Pittsburgh, and it looks like this one is going to be a power start for Pittsburgh in the next jam.
Columbia, though, holding this jammer.
And the jam comes to its natural conclusion there. That was 4 more points for Pittsburgh right at the end of that jam there. And no,
And it looks like
4 points for Columbia, 2 points for Pittsburgh. So,
number 5,000 Killman is going to be going to the box here at the end. So
oh,
Columbia is not going to be just down a jammer here,
they're
but they're also going to be down a
blocker.
blocker. So this is going to be
A tough jam for them. Yeah, but the last jam ended up being pretty okay for the two teams. Only a 1 point difference in favor of Pittsburgh, 8-9. So we'll see if we can keep a rather even jam again today as Bigfoot makes the most out of this power start. It won't be very long because Block is already standing in the box, but it is long enough for Pittsburgh to make it out with a lead jammer. Blockia takes the star off of her head in the penalty box as she comes back onto the track. Not sure if she's trying to pass her or if she's just trying to hold it to confuse the blockers a little. But it is not working because they are holding her solid. And it looks like Bigfoot might be about to make it out of the pack. He's got one blocker left to fight past on the outside of turn number 3. Is successful. There goes Bigfoot, first 4 points of the jam for Pittsburgh.
a star pass being made
Oh, yes.
to Killman.
That is your new Columbia jammer, number 5,000 Killman, coming around now on their first scoring pass as Bigfoot fights for the second. Oh,
And it looks
beautiful apex on turn number 3. That is 4 points for
points.
Columbia and 2 points for Pittsburgh. So Pittsburgh coming out in the lead, another jam here. So 4 Columbia, 6 Pittsburgh for our totals. Now we have less than a full scoring pass in between the two scores. It's Columbia 46, Pittsburgh 43, about a quarter of the way into the game. I think we just might have another lead switch coming up, which I am excited to see.
Yes, this is 3 points right now, which is crazy. We have 5,000 Killman back up on the line after collecting that star pass. Killman's going to get run back. For Pittsburgh, we have number 17 Deer Dance, who is also going to get hit out and ran back. Both of these teams showing phenomenal work here blocking. Killman, though, pushing that pack out of play and is going to make it out collecting lead. Deer Dance making it all the way out, but is going to get recycled back in here. Killman is going to collect 4 points before Deer Dance is out of their initial.
Maybe I was wrong about that lead switch. Columbia is kind of pulling ahead in this jam.
Deer Dance is taking off the star now in hopes to
Oh,
find
wow.
some stuff.
That was some incredible footwork from Killman. I did not expect him to make it down that line, but he is through the pack with another 4 points.
Killman with a 360 on the fourth turn here.
And then effortlessly through the pack before he even finished talking about his last pass. That was 12 points for Columbia and 0 for Pittsburgh. They did end up getting initial with that star pass, but never made it any points before it was called by Killman. Unfortunate for the Pittsburgh, but a great jam for Columbia, who have furthered their lead significantly. They are not wanting to let Pittsburgh take this game. And fighting for him now, we got number 6, Bug. And that's 55 Bigfoot for Pittsburgh. All right, we're off. Jammers are both starting a ways back to get some running speed, and that works out for Bigfoot, who just flies down that inside line. Lead jammer for Pittsburgh. He is looking to come back and get the missing points and bring Pittsburgh back up to Columbia. Bug, though, makes it out with a nice little hop on the inside of turn number 2. Both jammers now on their first scoring pass as Bigfoot gets hit out and run back. They're neck and neck in the pack, and that jam gets called right before Bug passes any blockers. That was 3 points for Pittsburgh and 0 points for Columbia. Closing the point gap a little bit, but not quite enough to catch up yet.
So I want to say Columbia and Pittsburgh both were doing a 2-jammer rotation yesterday, and it looks like they're both doing a 3-jammer rotation today to try to counteract, because those last couple of jams yesterday for both of our teams here were really, really hard, especially with altitude. So, but it looks like both of our teams have learned, and Columbia is going to be putting out their relief jammer right here, Chublakia, and Sirius is going to be on the line for Pittsburgh.
Ooh, that was some great line work from Block. Oh, never mind. That was a cut, I think.
Chublakia has got some nice footwork, but sadly, I believe, has a little push with the arm.
Oh,
is going to collect a forearm penalty.
I spoke too soon. So power jam now for Pittsburgh. Sirius is the only jammer on the track. We'll see if they're still lead eligible. They are. That's lead jammer for Pittsburgh.
Now, it has taken almost a full minute here for Pittsburgh to get that out. Chublakia is standing. So they have to make quick work of this pass right here. And they do. Sirius makes it through. But not before Chublakia is going to be out first. Chublakia is still on the initial here. So it's going to give Sirius a little bit more time. Sirius getting hit out and ran back by Killman. Chublakia looking for some help from the Columbia teammates.
Pretty slow pack here, don't you think?
Yes. Sirius starting to feel some of these effects. Killman collects a star pass right here and has some amazing footwork. Puts the helmet cover on. And Killman's going to try to do some jammer on jammer action here. But Sirius is not having it. It's just going to call it off. Pittsburgh collecting 8 points there, much needed, bringing this gap once again. 4-point gap here.
Yes, 58-54 and more than a quarter of the way into the game. We got number 55, Bigfoot jamming here for Pittsburgh, and number 6, Bug for Columbia. Looks like Columbia's doing a squishing back onto Pittsburgh at the whistle on this one. We'll see if it works out for them. It does not. There goes Bigfoot just flying past them with... Oh, never mind. Cut penalty on Bigfoot.
Yes.
Thank you. And Bug gets lead jammer. It's coming around now. A soul jammer on the track, fighting a tripod on turn number 2. Breaks him apart. Passes 1, 2, 3, and is through the pack. His blockers helping hold the back of the pack so they can't skate up with him. Looks like they're doing a different tactic this time. They're trying to sweep him to the side. However, kind of looks like they started that sweep a little early, so it got messy, but they made it work out. And there's another 4 points for Columbia. Again, they saw Pittsburgh closing the gap, and they're running away with it again. All right, he's coming around now, going for the inside, then the outside again. The outside a third time, does not make it this last time. Gets hit out by your number 5 blocker from Pittsburgh, cycled back. But Bigfoot officially back on the track. Bigfoot is still on initial, gets hit out, run back a bit. There's a no earned pass from Bigfoot, I think, but does successfully finish the initial. Minute left in the jam. Both jammers are now scoring. Bug coming around on the 4th scoring pass. Bigfoot on the 1st. Let's see if it will get called. It will. Bug is having some great track awareness there and good game smarts to call that jam off before Pittsburgh can even hit the pack on the scoring pass. That was a beautiful, I'm going to say 16-point jam for Columbia. There we go, 16 points for Columbia. And unfortunately for Pittsburgh, 0 on that jam there.
You can really tell all of our teams here today have amazing listening skills for these jammers.
Yes.
Their coaches are saying, call it, and seconds later, not even.
Yeah, they're calling it. And it doesn't look like Pittsburgh has a turn coach even. I don't see a turn coach for either team.
Pittsburgh does have a turn coach here, and I believe, well, I do not actually see a turn coach for
Columbia.
For Columbia here.
We could just be missing them, but
yeah, we could just be blind.
Got a team timeout here called by Pittsburgh. They probably see themselves falling a little behind in this points race, discussing strategy to make sure they're going into the game with good game sense. Looking here at our statistics on the sheet here, Columbia may be winning the points race, but they are not winning the penalties. They have 11 penalties to Pittsburgh's 5.
They do.
So they're going to want to keep an eye on those.
And now, also we have to look at jammer penalties here.
Yes, there's been way more jammer penalties than normal.
There has been 4 jammer penalties for Pittsburgh, and there's been 5 jammer penalties for Columbia. So Pittsburgh has had a couple more power jams. Well, one more power jam than Columbia has.
All right, we have Hillman on the line, number 5,000.
All right, number 5,000, Kilman on the line for Columbia as that team timeout wraps up, and it looks like all their strategies discussing Pittsburgh, they decided that Sirius would be their best jammer to put out this time. Kilman hit out and run back at the start of the jam, now caught behind a tripod a couple feet in front of the jam line. Sirius, though, making the most out of that team timeout, getting lead jammer after pushing the blockers out one by one into turn number 2. Coming around now on the first scoring pass, right as Kilman makes it out on initial, flies through that pack. Those were an unmatched 4 points for Pittsburgh. Not sure they're trying to call it. They are calling it. Kind of looked like Kilman was signaling to call it for a minute. Don't know if they thought they had lead or not, but either way, both jammers called it, so the jam is over. That was 4 points to Pittsburgh and 0 to Columbia. Nice short one-and-done jam there.
Now, Sirius saw their coach and decided to wait for the call, but Pittsburgh is down right now. So I don't know about the time wasting.
Yes, I have seen a lot of that at this tournament, actually.
There's been a lot of
losing
time.
Team running down the clock. I've not seen that strategy before, so I don't know what's up with it.
And it looks like Columbia is going to send out a relief jammer here, Tank, up against Pittsburgh, number 55, Bigfoot.
But it looks like Bigfoot's experience on the track is paying off with lead jammer for your white team.
Tank does make it up and around, but not before Bigfoot is already on and passed their first scoring pass. Tank now on Tank's scoring pass.
Yeah, it looks like Pittsburgh not calling the jam. Bigfoot thinks he can match up with Tank, so they're just running it out.
And Bigfoot making a good decision here is now up on points. Pittsburgh is up to 8, and Tank is still on this first scoring pass.
There's a no pack there. Can Tank use that to get out? Yes, he can. There goes Tank, finishing the first scoring pass.
Bigfoot here, though, is going to take a nice little hop on the outside line and is going to call it off. He's going to collect 12 here to Columbia's 4.
That was some great footwork from Bigfoot. I swear, there's a lot of cuts happening in this game, but when they're not happening, these jammers know where that line is, and they're staying like a hair away from it. Very impressive. Yes, only an 8-point gap now, and as we just saw, 8 points can get made up in a single jam, so maybe we will have a lead switch before the half, or per usual, Columbia's going to run away with this lead right before Pittsburgh catches up. We got Sirius going up against Killman, who makes it through the pack on the outside line before I finish introductions.
And actually, that is Thug Buggerson.
Oh, Bug, my bad.
No, you're all good.
Bug coming around now with lead jammer. Sirius, half a track behind. Pack really running here. That does give Bug what he needs, though, to just swoop past the blockers one by one, pick up 4 points, and call it.
Now it is Killman up, number 5,000, up against Bigfoot. Looks like both of our teams are deciding to start at the pivot line here, giving our jammers an opportunity to collect some speed. Our jammers are going to be doing a little jammer on jammer, waiting to see what the other one's going to do. Bigfoot getting run back here, but is going to swoop through on the outside line, collecting lead. Killman, though, still on Killman's initial, while Bigfoot is on a scoring pass. And this is what Pittsburgh needed. Bigfoot collecting 4 points here, while Killman just got out of initial. So if Columbia can get points and call, and it worked out. Let's see, is that 4 points? It did not actually work out for Pittsburgh. Columbia picked up 4 points there. Pittsburgh only picking up one more on that pass, giving Pittsburgh a 1 point lead on that jam.
All right, we got, it looks like a relief Pittsburgh jammer here, number 17, Deer Dance, going up against Bug. Bug, flies down that inside line, jumps like seriously 7 feet over that
That
apex
was
to
a
get lead
line
jammer.
jump.
But Deer Dance not too far behind. Our pack waiting at the end of turn number 2 to catch Bug, but once again, he just swoops by unopposed.
And it looks like that.
Ooh, that is a cut penalty. Yes, Deer Dance in the box.
Bug on the second no-touch pass on 8 points now.
Yes, Bug doing a great job here, and it just keeps getting greater. Oh, another pass that actually has him up and into a referee. Does have to cycle back on that one, but we'll see how long it holds him, especially because his blockers can help him out.
Does make it out.
Yes.
I do want to talk about what just happened, though. He jumped the apex and then fell and then went out of bounds on the opposite side of the track. But the apex jump is what caused going out of bounds. So he had to go all the way back behind all of those skaters.
Yes. That was 16 points for Columbia, though. A very impressive jam. And you know what? This is the second time this game a referee has gotten hit. So, man, they're getting beat up. Sorry, guys. But
Sorry to our referees,
great jam for Columbia there. Now, they broke the 100-point line with that jam. So our score is now 102-75 Columbia. And only 3 minutes left in the half. They might have this one.
And it looks like Hillman is going to start on a power jam here. It's not going to be long, though. Deer Dance is standing.
If you didn't know this, if a blocker is standing in the box, they have less than 10 seconds until they are released.
Yes, yes. Killman does make it out, collects lead. We have a Columbia blocker going to the box here. Deer Dance still stuck, though. Killman working to the front of this pack, trying to break through. Deer Dance, with a little no pass, no penalty, makes it all the way up and out. And Killman, also making it out, decides to call off the jam here. Columbia collecting 8 points on that jam to Pittsburgh's 0.
Columbia is running away with the lead, as we can see here, and with less than 3 minutes left, less than 3 minutes left on the game clock. This next jam could be the last one in the half. We're going to have to wait and see how long it is. In the meantime,
We have
once
a
this,
team timeout.
yes, team timeout from Columbia. Thank you. I forgot the word there for a minute.
Now, I don't know if you folks at home can see this, and we'll definitely be showing this at halftime. But right now, Columbia has 13 penalties in total to Pittsburgh's 11 penalties in total. Pittsburgh does have their penalties spread out a little bit more than Columbia does.
Yeah, Columbia has a couple jammers who are getting there with like 3 penalties.
3.
Nothing too
Yeah,
high points.
Really
Not
nothing
like the
crazy.
game last night. I don't know if you guys caught the game last
Oh,
night,
yeah.
but like I said, that one was crazy. We had like almost 80 penalties between the 2 teams.
It was something.
Yeah, 3 players fouled out. But anyways, that one's over. But that one's, if you want to go give a game a rewatch, maybe skip the timeouts on that one. But it's interesting for sure.
Talking about giving a game a rewatch, if you guys need any kind of the scheduling brackets, scores from past games, or the game that you guys are trying to watch now, you guys can go to www.juniorrollerderby.org/2025champions
Yes.
to get all that information there.
Yes, in the meantime, these players getting started without us. Looks like we got Sirius and Bug. Sirius gets hit out and run back, and Bug does not. There he goes with lead jammer. But Sirius catches up not too far about a quarter track between the 2 jammers. Our pack is flying through turns 1 and 2 here. Staying ahead of the jammers as much as possible, but, unfortunately, jammers are picked partially because of their speed, so they're generally faster than the blockers. And that is shown in Bug there, being able to fly past 3 of the blockers with an awesome single foot glide. I think you guys should have had a great view of that on the live stream, so you're lucky.
That would have been nice. And it looks
Somebody should go screen record that and give it to Bug after the game.
It looks like it did not pay off for Columbia, though.
No,
Both
3
Columbia and
points.
Pittsburgh, 3-3. Same as 0-0 around here.
Bigfoot going up against Killman for Columbia.
It looks like both of our packs deciding to start far in the front near the pivot line. And Killman's going to push through and make it out. Bigfoot right behind, though. This is 5-10 feet maybe. But Columbia deciding to run it. Wanting to get a couple points. Killman realizing that Bigfoot is closing that gap and chooses to call it rather 0-0 than something bad to happen.
Yes. Especially when Columbia is in the lead. You don't want to risk losing points when you already have enough to win. I mean, maybe
don't
Pittsburgh...
take the risks if you're winning.
Yes. Less than a minute left in the half. This next jam will likely be the last one. We got number 6, Bug for Columbia, and 13, Sirius for Pittsburgh. We're off. Bug taking the front of the pack, juking past a whole tripod. This footwork this guy is showing is insane. And that's lead jammer for Columbia. Sirius still in the pack, getting hit out and run back as Thug hits the pack on the first scoring pass. Multiplayer penalty getting called on a Pittsburgh blocker, has him in the box, and Thug through the pack again. Ooh, and it looks like that jam is getting called for an injury on a Pittsburgh player.
Now, my question is this 4 points right now that Columbia has, is that from this pass right now, or is that
from a pass they've completed?
Yeah,
No,
I think Bug might have been halfway across the track.
Yes, we're about to find out.
I think that those points will stand.
All right, and it does look like our new Pittsburgh jammer is going to be number 55, Bigfoot. And we have, a minute and 33 seconds left until the jam is over. There's Bug, another 4 points quickly in the jam. Remember, no initial. He's just coming in on that scoring pass. But here comes Bigfoot finishing. Pittsburgh was still on the initial, and now they're done with that. So Bug just calls it off before they get any points. That was 8 points for Columbia, 0 points for Pittsburgh, bringing our halftime score, Columbia 125 to Pittsburgh 78. Hey guys, we are coming back now, just about 2 minutes left in the halftime, and we got teams lining up for gear check. I'm going to do a quick run over here. If you look at, we have a fun little points per jam graph. I just wanted to point out some fun things for that. One, Columbia has gotten all 3 highest point jams in the game, 2 for 16 and 1 for 14. And if we look at the little stars over it, Columbia has also gotten lead jammer the last 6 jams in a row. But if you look back at the front of the graph, Pittsburgh was doing better at the start of the game, and I think what happened is Columbia figured out the offense that works.
I agree, and I think that it's almost like Columbia was playing here, studying Pittsburgh for a little bit in the first half of the first half, and
Yes.
figured out what was working.
And I mean, come on, 6 lead jammers in the row, it's working, and that's reflected in our score too. 125-78 Columbia.
With Columbia chipping away with those 4 and 8 point jams on Pittsburgh.
Yes,
slowly
and now
making that gap.
Yeah, now switching over to the penalties here. That should come up in just a moment for you guys. Here we are. So as we can see, Columbia has 14 penalties and Pittsburgh has 13. Matching up with the point layout for Pittsburgh versus Columbia, though, Columbia had a lot of penalties at the start of the half. Pittsburgh got a lot more at the ending of the half, though.
Yeah, so now we're switching over here to the Pittsburgh side. And, you know, looking at these penalties, there's nothing that really stands out.
No,
Possibly
nobody's
cut
really
tracks.
high. The highest one we have is 3 penalties, so I don't think anyone's going to foul out for sure. But a lot of people
definitely
are
not.
getting singular penalties, and it's adding up for the two teams, not significantly, but just something to keep an eye on as we enter the second half, which is about to start now. I want to take us back to the track now. We got our first jammers lined up. That's a 55 Bigfoot for Pittsburgh and 5,000 Killman for Columbia.
The 5s.
I think if Columbia can keep the good strategy that they figured out going into the second half, they could have this game. But we'll see if Pittsburgh maybe took the halftime to discuss and maybe has a new strategy that might work out in the second half.
Looks like both of our teams are going to start on the pivot line far off, giving our jammers an opportunity to collect some speed before they hit this pack. Looks like Pittsburgh did find something, and number 55 Bigfoot is going to make it out first for lead. This is their first lead in 6 jams, so see if they can capitalize on it, and they do.
Oh, wow. That was a great
no-touch
offense
pass
from those
calls it
blockers.
off. Pittsburgh, yes, with some amazing offense. Starting this half off strong, 4-0.
Yes, you know, we were saying Columbia figured out the offense. Maybe it's Pittsburgh's turn. But anyways, taking our attention back to the track, we got number 6, Bug for Columbia, and number 17 for Pittsburgh. That is Deer Dance.
Yes, number 17, I believe. Yes.
All right, we are off. Both jammers take the inside line. Then both just to get shuffled around in the pack here. Ooh, Deer Dance off with a penalty. Oh, nope, my bad.
Sorry, the other way around.
Bug is off with a penalty, and Deer Dance is the only jammer on the track. However, just got hit out and run back quite a ways by your Columbia pivot, almost back to the pivot line, actually. Now stuck in a pack on turns number 1. We are still eligible for lead here. We'll have to wait and see if she's able to make it out to get the lead. They give her lead. Makes it out of the box, and then calls the jam off. Sorry, got a little distracted. I don't know if you can hear it over the mic, but Pittsburgh over on the bench literally screaming for Deer Dance to call that jam off right there.
And Pittsburgh trying to be smart about this, keeping Bug iced in the box here.
Yes.
Going to give Bigfoot an opportunity to start on a power jam.
Yes, I think they're trying to get lead here and pick up points with one of the best jammers on the team here, Bigfoot. However, they're not going to have a long power start because Bug is standing in the box, so less than 10 seconds until he's released.
Bigfoot, though, making work of it. Coming through on the outside line here. Bug coming in quickly, though, as well.
That is his
Making it
move
out.
where he flips around on one leg.
He flips around on one
It's
foot.
impressive.
Yes, it is. It is some amazing control, skate control. Oh, and Bug jumping the apex here. Getting in front of Bigfoot. So, Bigfoot did collect lead. Bigfoot making it out first. Bug's still stuck on this pack. Pittsburgh picking up 4 and calling it, and Columbia only picking up 2. Now, Pittsburgh does pick up 2 points in that. It's an 8-6 jam. So Pittsburgh has gotten the last 3 jams, gotten lead.
coming back from the halftime with a vengeance for sure. But they're going up against Killman for Columbia this time, so that is going to be a hard gem for sure. But they have tried and true Sirius as their jammer, so it's going to be a fight and jam for both teams. And it starts off right away with both jammers on the outside. Bug tries to juke and fly to the inside, but falls down, takes out a referee. Again, these referees are just getting abused in this game, I swear.
It is all accidents, though.
Yes. And Sirius has gotten lead jammer and is coming around now to hit the pack on turn number 2. Bypasses 3 of the blockers, and there's 4. Sirius through the pack for 4 points, right as Killman makes it out on initial. Again, our pack really flying around before slowing it to a stop in between the jam and pivot line. When Sirius calls the jam there, that was a good 4 points for Pittsburgh and 0 points for Columbia. Again, Pittsburgh jammers seem to be running the clock down before they call the jams off, and it's an interesting tactic because they are down by over 30 points. 36, if I mathed correctly. 37.
There you go, 37, perfect.
So I would not be running the clock down, but I mean, these guys are the national team, so
Yeah, they're the masters at it.
I'm sure they know what they're doing.
Bug jumping the line again, collecting lead here, while up against Bigfoot, who finds their way through the middle, and Bug now gonna find his way through the middle and call it.
All right, we got to switch on our points this time. Columbia's the one picking up 4 points and 0 for Pittsburgh. Now we got, that is Killman for Columbia, and once again, Bigfoot for Pittsburgh.
This is a choice. Is this Bigfoot's second one in a row, yes?
I think it is. We'll see if the Stanma can keep him going.
And actually, that was Columbia's first lead jam of this half.
And there's the second,
here's
man.
Our second.
Looks like, yeah, but Bigfoot Stanma still there because he is only half a lap behind Killman. They're both entering the first scoring pass here, and Killman's fighting a tripod on the inside of turn number 2, does get bumped out and calls the jam there. That was 2 points for Columbia and 0 for Pittsburgh.
Killman so aware of how far that jammer is and decides to call it right before Bigfoot can get an opportunity to get any points for Pittsburgh. We have Bug and Sirius on the line now. Both of these teams here kind of getting all mixed up together and creating a lot of speed, giving both of these jammers opportunities to get out, but Bug is going to be the first one out. Sirius is right behind, though. Both of our teams skating up to try to preserve points. And it looks like Columbia is going to decide to keep this moving. And it might work out. There's a little bit of a bigger gap this time around, but both of them pretty much sliding through this pack. Both of our teams continuing to run it.
These poor referees are getting such a workout.
Our teams practically moving as fast as our jammers here. Bug picking up 4 again, and Sirius also picking up 4. Columbia wants to play this.
As well, I mean, if you can keep ahead or at least equal in the points and you're in the lead, it makes sense to run it down. Ooh.
And I believe right before the jump, Bug probably went out of bounds there and is collecting a cut track penalty, which means that Pittsburgh is going to be on a power jam, and it also means it's going to go the full 2 minutes.
We got 45 seconds left for Sirius to try to pass Bug in the points.
And Sirius does. 4 points for Pittsburgh there.
I bet Bug regrets not calling it off now.
Well, I feel like, if anything, it's Columbia regretting not calling it.
Right.
Their coaching staff works pretty well with these kids to talk with them and make sure they call. But both of our teams, once again, moving, running.
Yes, Bug is out of the box and fighting to get these points back now. They're
Sirius
one
getting hit
pack
out here.
lap
and
around Sirius.
You can see that this 2-minute jam is making both of our teams tired here. Bug, after coming out of the box, picks up 8 more, which evens the score. 16. Oh, I'm sorry. Pittsburgh does pick up 1 more there. 16 to 17 point jam.
That was a fun jam. There's a lot going on there.
And it was a full 2-minute one,
Yes,
too.
Pittsburgh may have gotten 1 more point in this jam, but they're in a tough spot at the start of the next one with 2 blockers in the box. So their jammer, Bigfoot, is going to have to make up for not having much offense, and Killman is going to have an easier time working through the defense here. We'll just have to see how it goes. Yet Bigfoot does get hit out and run back, but so does Killman. Ooh, Bug hops, slides, but stays in bounds. That was a nice apex recovery there. Bigfoot may have only had 2 blockers, but still got lead. And those 2 blockers put in everything they could to hold Killman back almost 30 seconds. The box has emptied now, other than a new jammer on a Columbia pivot, so our pack is back to about normal. And our jammers both on the first scoring pass. There goes Bigfoot with 4. And there goes Killman with 4. Cycling back to the pack, which is currently parked at the end of turn number 2. Bigfoot spins past the pack, collects as many points as possible, and then calls it off. That was 4 points for Columbia and a nice 8 points for Pittsburgh. They were starting at a disadvantage, but they made that not a disadvantage with a great jam there. Yeah, they came back from the halftime ready to win and ready to make back that gap. But like I said, Pittsburgh was doing good in the first half, and then Columbia recovered in the second half of the first half. Oh, lots of halves there. So let's see if Columbia will pull ahead again in the second half of the second half.
Now, it looks like Bug is going to hit out Deer Dance here.
Who does not go out.
Who does not continue to go out of bounds.
That's a cut penalty.
Collect a cut track penalty, which means Columbia is going to be on a power jam.
Let's see if they can make up the points they lost these last couple jams.
Columbia is going to collect lead here.
Ooh.
With an apex jump.
That was nice.
Buggerson is going to collect 4.
Has there been a single jam where he hasn't had a successful apex?
You know, Bug is... He is the jumper.
He's hoppy.
He really should be like, he's like a jumping bug, you know?
If he was a bug, he'd be a grasshopper.
Yeah,
Wait, do
he's a
grasshoppers jump?
grasshopper.
I know they have
Yeah,
hopper
yeah,
in the
yeah.
name, but I didn't know if they actually jumped or not.
Uh,
Anyway, there goes Bug with 4 points
4
for
more
Columbia.
points. And I will say the Pittsburgh jammer, Deer Dance, was out here.
Maybe he
And
took that star
actually
off. Oh,
Is going back to the
Yes.
box here. I'm not sure what that penalty was. Bug, though, breaking through straight to the middle of that seam and is going to collect 4 more.
poor Deer Dance. I hate getting double penalties as a jammer. It really
And like we
sucks.
were saying, Grasshopper himself.
Bug tries to call the jam off. The referee waits like seriously 10 seconds to call it off. Don't know what that was about, but does call it off in the end. So that was a great jam for Columbia there. 16 points for them. Unfortunately, 0 for Pittsburgh, and they are starting with a jammer in the box and a pivot in the box. So Columbia is in another great position here that's Killman there, ready to pick up points for the black team. It will be a short power start, though, less than 10 seconds until Deer Dance is released from the box. But Killman does not need 10 seconds. How fast was that? 2?
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, we need to put a timer on Killman and Bug.
All right, here's Killman fighting against a
Bigfoot, too.
tripod now. Deer Dance is out of the penalty box and is tripod at the back of the pack. And there goes Killman. 4 points for Columbia. Another Pittsburgh blocker from each team in the box, so a lighter pack. But Killman doesn't even hit the pack, just jumps it. Again, a single jam, no apex? I don't know.
The Grasshopper boys.
Yes. There is a player, I think from the Cherry City team. His name's Apex Legends, his derby name. But I think Killman might need to take... Killman or Bug might need to take that title because these two just jump every corner and are successful 90% of the time.
You can see our Columbia defense here, choosing to isolate one of the Pittsburgh blockers. So
Yes,
every
they're-
time Killman's coming around,
They're keeping
only
control
got
of that
3.
pack. Yes, unfortunately, Pittsburgh had a star pass, but it didn't really go anywhere. The jam just ended, and Pittsburgh never got any points, unfortunately. Columbia did pick up a solid 16, though. That was nice. Another great jam for him, for sure.
And now, I don't know. We might need to see something big happen here. But Columbia with 2 16-point jams, almost back to back.
They might have just pulled ahead and gotten this game in the bag for themselves.
Both of our teams deciding to start on the pivot, and it's working out for Bug. Doing a little 360, collecting lead, but Sirius is also out as well. With about 50 feet, Bug is going to have a good amount of time to try to collect some points. Bug collects them all,
That was a
and
clean
Columbia
pass.
wants to run it. Columbia's winning. So they
Ooh.
decide, we want to run it.
Sirius just barely nicks that wheel out of bounds and has to go back. Again.
Bug collecting some points here. Columbia's about to crest over the 200. And as I'm saying
There it
that,
goes.
Bug collecting 4 more on a no-touch pass.
Bug and Killman are just, they're fighting to see who can get the most points on the board. A minute left in this jam. Bug may pass 16 points and make our highest point jam so far, but he calls it instead. That was a 4-point jam for Pittsburgh.
A 16-point jam for Columbia, putting them over 200, 205 to 123.
Again, Columbia just figures it out. It clicks from about halfway into the half, and they just run away with that score.
Yes, it's definitely been a second half team. And actually yesterday, too, we were looking back at the stats, and both Columbia and Pittsburgh losing kind of the first half of their games yesterday, but in the second half was able to actually collect more in the second half. So both of these teams are kind of second half teams.
Yes, and we have a timeout being called here, a team timeout from Pittsburgh, probably because if you look and see, they have 2 blockers in the penalty box. As their score has dropped lower than Columbia's, they've been getting a little more desperate, and the penalties have been stacking up because of that. And for the first time in this game, they have actually passed Columbia for penalties. They have 23 to Columbia's 22. One person have 4 penalties. 2 people have 4 penalties.
Yeah,
but
one
again,
on each team.
yes.
But really, nobody is really fouling out of this game. I don't see it happening here.
No, I don't either. Like, everyone has stayed pretty in control of themselves, which is good to see. Definitely makes for a more satisfying game. In the meantime, looks like referees are breaking for the end of the team timeout, maybe? Yep, there's that rolling whistle signifying the start of our lineup clock. Players getting back in position. Ooh, Columbia said we've been doing too good with Bug and Killman. We're getting a new jammer out there. That is 007 Mad Danger going up against a tried and true Bigfoot. So let's see if fresh wheels can compete with seasoned wheels.
I like that.
Thank you. I thought of it myself.
Mad
Okay.
Danger, though. Both of our teams here starting in the pivot line, giving both of our jammers an opportunity to have some speed. Mad Danger getting run back. And it looks like Bigfoot here is going to be the seasoned skater, making it out and collecting lead. And Bigfoot with a
Ooh.
no-touch pass.
That was a
collecting 4.
crazy juke.
Yeah, an amazing juke on the last jammer there. It looks like Mad Danger is out there on the initial. And with Bigfoot coming around doing an Apex 180.
Ooh, another Apex, but does not stick at that time. And there goes Bigfoot getting run back. Getting run back
Oh my
by Mad
goodness.
Danger, but
Mad-
he's not going back. He's just going to stand there and wait it out. But, Columbia is fine running the clock down because they are in the lead. And Bigfoot just calls it off, accepting defeat.
Yeah, I think that is some amazing track awareness from Mad Danger. I do not believe Mad Danger hit the Pittsburgh jammer out there, but saw that
They had
Matt Danger had
position.
position, so
Yes,
They can-
if remember,
they can
if
make Pittsburgh
somebody
eat the
gets
baby.
hit out of bounds, they have to go back in behind the person who hit them out and anyone from the other team who was in front of the person who hit you out. So that's impressive track awareness there and the knowledge to run down the clock. That just shows how skilled these teams are. Anyways, Bug and Sirius facing off here for jam number 13. Bug gets sent straight to the penalty box. Did you catch what the penalty was?
here, let's look on our handy dandy thing right here. Looks like it was a back block penalty.
Back block on Bug, power jam for Sirius, who, a crazy, awesome beam dip there. Flies practically underneath the two Columbia blockers. Lead jammer for Pittsburgh. Sirius is coming in again now for the outside. Does get hit out by Tank. And Go-Go gets run back, just calls the jam off there. Wants to have a power start? No, looks like Bug made it out of the box at the last second. No, he is there.
Yeah, he's
The referees were hiding him.
yeah. Bug is standing in the box, still iced.
Yes. So it looks like Bigfoot, your Pittsburgh jammer, is going to have a nice short little power start. Hopefully they can make the most out of that. For the last jam, though, Pittsburgh picked up 3 points. Forgot to cover that earlier. My bad.
All good. Bug is actually going to come out of the box almost in seconds here, and coming out of the box, collecting lead. Bigfoot right on Bug's tail, though, maybe a 10, 20 feet. And as we've seen here, Bigfoot is a little bit faster than Bug. So...
and you're right, yeah, because, Bigfoot has 2 blockers left to pass.
Bug is going to actually
One
collect
blocker.
a penalty here again,
Ooh.
which means Pittsburgh is going to be on a power jam, also meaning this is going to go the full 2 minutes.
Yes, and that was Bug's 5th penalty of the game.
That was. And 4 of those were in this half.
Interesting.
So I know what's going on with Thug Buggerson right now, but
I love that name, Thug
Thug
Buggerson.
Buggerson.
It's fun.
Bigfoot, though, definitely collecting on this.
That was,
A nice little smooth pass.
yeah, interesting
4.
offense, interesting defense, but it works for Pittsburgh, so I'm sure our white team is taking it.
Bug back on the track and making up and around the outside.
That's
For
4 points for
4
Columbia.
points.
Bug now on the second, Bigfoot on the 4th scoring pass. 30 seconds left in the jam. It will go the full
Wow.
time. Can Bug catch up?
Yeah, Bug making it around, picking up another 4. Pittsburgh needing to get Bigfoot out here.
Bug
Bug
through
once
again. Bug and Bigfoot are now on the same scoring pass.
And this is not the Bug we were seeing just seconds ago. Bug having 2 penalties in this jam.
Ooh, there's a
coming
Columbia
back
blocker in the box.
and making it out. Pittsburgh and Columbia both collecting 4. They both are on a 16-point jam
Yes,
here.
they are tied up. And there's the ending of that jam. 4 points to Pittsburgh at the last second there and 1 point to Columbia.
Pittsburgh's jammer here making a beautiful jump on the apex. It was honestly like a little hop.
Yes,
And it
last
was
minute
all
to
the
pick those
points.
points up.
Yeah.
So another high point jam, 17-20. Columbia may be leading, but 20 points. I think that might be the highest point jam of the game we've gotten
I
so
believe
far.
it is. And funny enough, not by our winning team. So Pittsburgh, even being our losing team, showing that they are a very powerful team here, picking up a
Yes.
20-point jam.
They're coming back for sure. And we got an official timeout now so we can talk to you a little bit about that. Yes, Pittsburgh definitely coming back a little bit now. They're figuring it out, but with only less than 10 minutes left in the game, I'm not sure if they're going to able to make up the point gap that they have because it's Columbia 222 to Pittsburgh 154. And while Pittsburgh has had some high point jams, Columbia has never been far behind on them. So, 20-17, that really only gains you 3 points.
It does, and we do have to see that with this last 2-minute jam. Even though it was high scoring for both of our teams here. I don't know if you can hear our teams in the venue here, but Pittsburgh has a nice little cheer going on here.
Yes. I'm really not sure what these officials are talking about. We've passed a minute and they're still grouped up in the middle of the track here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, hopefully we'll get it wrapped up soon. When we come back, so it looks like we're going to have a serious jamming for Pittsburgh and Killman for Columbia.
I want to remind you guys again that we have 4 more games today. And if you guys want to look at the scheduling for the games, the brackets,
yes.
the scores, you guys can go to www.juniorrollerderby.org/2025champs. We have all the information on there
Yes,
about it.
scheduling, brackets, scores for all weekend, and information for upcoming games. And that's where the link to the live stream is if you ever lose it.
Now, if I'm not wrong, though, our next game is going to be Seattle versus Nashville.
Yes, it will, and that'll be for female 3rd place. Oh, man, there goes Sirius through that pack for lead jammer. Killman gets hit out and run back. Still fighting in the pack here as Sirius comes around on the first scoring pass. But there goes Killman makes it out as Sirius makes it through for 4. Let's see. Yep, Sirius is going to run the clock down just a bit and then call that jam off. Again, I'm not sure why they're running the clock instead of just trying to call it right away.
We do keep knocking Siri over here. Getting her chat back to us.
I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Well, we have number 5'5" Bigfoot up on the line for Pittsburgh and number 6 Doug Buggerson on the line for Columbia. Bigfoot living up to the name, I think, might have some bigger feet than Thug here. Looking at him. There is going to be a little jammer on jammer action. Both of our jammers here trying to see what each other are doing.
That is a cut penalty for Bigfoot.
Bigfoot, I believe, just barely stepping out, collecting a cut track, which means Columbia is going to be on a power jam here.
And there's that lead. Let's see if Bug can finally pass the 20 points and get the highest point jam for us, because he has been doing everything to pick them up.
Bug given a little hand signal here. I think the closed hand means I want you guys to wait. I got this.
Hold back. Hold the back of the pack.
Yeah.
And it works because there's the first 4 points of the game for Columbia.
A little dip into the middle of the pack here.
That was a cool move.
Doug Buggerson
especially from
through.
Someone as tall as Bug is. You don't normally see him getting low.
Bigfoot is back on the track here, though.
Oh, and there's the jump. Can't have a jam with Bug without an apex.
There's the apex there.
Yes, 12 points now for Columbia.
I will say, Bigfoot, this is the second time now getting hit out and run back. Bug, you can tell, getting tired.
16 points now. He has to make it 2 more laps to pass our high score of 20 points in the jam.
And now that Bigfoot is out of initial, knowing Columbia here is probably going to be some points in call. There's the points. There's the call.
Yes, so another 20-point jam for Columbia. 0 for Pittsburgh. Unfortunately, doesn't pass our high score for points, but you know what? That's really not important. I just like that.
The thing, though, here is when Pittsburgh got 20 points, Columbia got 17, but this is a 20-0 jam here. Columbia really picking it up.
Yes, they are almost 100 points over Pittsburgh now, 242 to 158 with 6 minutes left in the game. We got number 5,000. That's Killman for Columbia, and then Tried and True Serious for Pittsburgh. Is this your jam or mine?
I believe it's your jam, and it looks like Killman is out for a lead.
All right, taking it away then, Serious. Fun spill there, front of the pack. Gets a cut penalty. Looks like the jam ref was just going to give Sirius a no earned pass, but then the pack ref decides to issue the cut penalty. Here comes Killman, though. Another power jam. Will Columbia get another unmatched 20 points? We're about to find out. Here comes Killman. Ooh, taking a spill. Recovers well, though. A great catch on the outside of turn 3. Through the pack again for another 4 points. Does look like we got a Pittsburgh or a Columbia blocker in the box. We'll have to wait and see what's going on there. Or if being a blocker's down, going to slow him down at all. It is not. There's another 4 points to Columbia. 12 points now and a minute left in the jam. We'll have to see if Columbia can hold back the defense, though, because Sirius is out of the box on the track.
Sirius with a bean dip to the
Smooth
outside.
dip. That is the initial for Pittsburgh, and I imagine the end of this jam here if Killman's going to call it. Ooh, Killman, they hit each other out. Sirius gets a cut penalty.
Well, I actually don't know about that, right?
I kind of feel like Killman's skates went out of bounds on the outside.
Because Killman put both of Killman's hands down on the ground, which means they weren't an upright skater.
I don't know.
Pittsburgh.
I'm going to assume the refs know best, though. So
Pittsburgh
just kind
does
of
have an official here.
just kind of an interesting cut penalty. And if they do call an official review, we know what it's on. But in the meantime, Killman lapping the pack again and again. We're at 24 points now for Columbia. 10 seconds left. Let's see. I imagine he's going to get another full pass. There it is. 5 seconds left. I don't know if it's going to happen again. Sirius is out of the box, but... Oh! Laps the whole pack last minute. That was a great penalty box exit there
Now,
from Sirius.
I am not sure about yesterday's last game, but from what I understand, 28 points here from Columbia. That is the biggest jam we've seen all weekend, right?
Maybe. It just might be. I'm not sure for certain. But it's certainly an impressive jam, especially because Pittsburgh only put up 4 points, so it was 24 points to Columbia, and our point gap is now over 100.
Bug getting out first here, but Bigfoot literally inches behind. Gonna have a little jammer on jammer, and Bug saying, we're in the lead, don't worry, and calls it off.
You know, Cosmic and me were chatting the other day about the teams and, who we think is going to win and lose and whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And you told me that Bug was one of the best junior skaters that you'd ever seen skate. And
I really
know
mean
what?
that.
I agree. The footwork, the track awareness, it's impressive here from Bug, Killman, Sirius, and... honestly, Bigfoot, too. These 4 jammers are really... the jammers are always the star of the show, let's be honest. But these 4 specifically are doing an insane job out here. This footwork is some of the best that I've seen at the whole tournament. This may be the game for 5th place, I think. But this playing is 5 stars.
I couldn't have said it any better.
This is so exciting to watch.
All of our games here today with so many wonderful skaters here.
Yes.
We have... a lot of Team USA skaters, too. I want to give a little shout-out to that. Going to be in Australia not too long from now.
Yes.
And,
Australia. That's fun. Don't get eaten by an alligator, okay?
I will say, they find these kids for a reason, and Doug Buggerson, I believe, is a USA skater.
Oh, cool. All right, our team timeout has come to an end, and we are back on the track. It is a Bigfoot versus Killman. Bigfoot takes lead. Killman only like a quarter track behind, though. They're both coming into the first scoring pass. Here goes Bigfoot for the outside. Success. There's 4 points for Pittsburgh. Killman, though, look at that. Guess what it was? It was an apex.
It was a little hopper.
And 4 points for Columbia. They should make, never mind. Another
apex, and that one was a lot bigger.
We should start making like a tally. How many apexes Killman or Bug gonna get? Bigfoot, though, is not far behind, though. They're both at 8 points. Killman is in the lead now. Ooh, and furthers that lead there, flying through the pack for 12 points, whereas Bigfoot gets hit out and run back.
Now,
Killman coming around again. Bigfoot decides to just cut the losses and call it there. That was 12 points for Columbia. And let's see how many points for Pittsburgh. 9 points for Pittsburgh.
9, yes.
I forgot to add it to how many points there already were. Yes, got 2 minutes and 45 seconds left in the game. We are coming to the conclusion of our 5th place game. And it is Columbia 282 to Pittsburgh 171. I think it's safe to say this game is in the bag for Columbia. And we have one last team timeout from Pittsburgh being called. But real quick, I want to let you know. So this is for 5th and 6th game in our open division. But if you want to catch 3rd and 4th place, that is starting at just about 12 p.m. and that is going to be Des Moines versus Pixies. Those two will be fighting for third place. Same link for the live stream, and at 12 p.m. today. Don't forget to check that one out.
And we know why you guys are really going to be here today, and it's for this 4 p.m. game
The
later
open
today.
finale. Foco versus Philly. These teams have faced off with each other 4 years in a row now for the championship.
That is true. And last year, it was a nail-biter.
Yes.
Philly winning by only a couple of points in the last jam.
1 point. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. If you have not watched the 2024 JRDA championship finale game,
oh my
go
gosh,
watch it.
Yes.
I don't care that it's a year old. That was the craziest ending to a game that I've ever seen.
I couldn't.
Yes. And hey, stop by at 4 p.m. today. We'll see if we get another awesome one this year. In the meantime, speaking of awesome, we have a new relief Columbia jammer,
that is
Thomas the Train, going up against a relief jammer from Pittsburgh. That's Deer Dance. Deer Dance got 2 penalties last time she jammed, so hopefully we'll have better luck this time and she'll be able to stay on the track. She's still on initial, though, and Thomas the Train coming around on the second scoring pass. And I apologize, Cosmic. I think this is your jam that I just took over, so I'm going to hand it back off to you.
No, it's all good. Thomas the Train coming through on the second scoring pass here. Getting held here by number 5 on Pittsburgh. This is the second time, really saving every second Pittsburgh has.
Yes, luckily, Deer was able to stay out of the box, and she really great fight there. And now we have another team timeout. They've said it before, and I'll say it again for you. The last 5 minutes of a derby game are the longest 30 minutes of the game.
They're trying to keep everything together.
Yes.
All of our players are playing their hearts out. They're saying, I'm leaving everything on the track here.
Yes.
And
fifth place at Nationals is nothing to scoff at. And you know what? Even the teams who don't win, they're the 6th best team in the country.
Yeah, think about that. That's crazy.
That's
for
crazy.
The open division here.
Yeah, we are looking at stars here, and I'm so excited to see it because we have 1 minute and 42 seconds left on the game clock. So this next jam could be the last one if it runs 2 full minutes. And our score is 290-71 Columbia. I think it's going to be a fun jam. We have Sirius, tried and true for Pittsburgh, going up against Tank from Columbia. Another, I don't say unusual jammer. That's the wrong word.
Just, Columbia is, they're up, and this is the last game of their season. They're trying to get a lot of their skaters out there.
Yeah, as high-point games as you can get. I don't know if you can get 119 points in a minute and 30 seconds. But, so yeah, they're letting Tank go out there, have it at him. Sirius, though, getting hit out and run back by Killman.
A lot of the games through the season, you normally wouldn't see anything like this because point gap matters. But this being one of the being the last game of the season here for both of these teams.
Yes, this is the last game that these 2 teams will play.
Them having fun, the scores are pretty much what they're going to be, and these teams are just going to have fun.
Yes, Sirius, though, gets lead and is now fighting on the first scoring pass. And there goes Tank. Coming around now, both jammers on their first scoring pass. Sirius hit out, bumped out again. Calls the jam right before Tank gets any points. Tank disappointed.
Frustrated,
he wanted to score. And look at that, another timeout. Like I said, the last 5 minutes of a derby game are the longest 30 minutes of the game. Another new Columbia jammer. That's number 64, Kid Block.
Both of these teams trying to hold as much time as possible. They want to play the game so much.
It looks like what happened is both teams are out of timeouts. So Pittsburgh called their official review and are using it as their timeout. So here in about 30 minutes, it'll wrap up with no official review, and we will get going. These teams, they're having a great time. It's amazing to see. We're here to win, but mostly we're here to have fun at roller derby.
Oh, yeah.
And no matter who wins the tournament, I think Columbia and Pittsburgh just won the sportsmanship and having fun competition with the smiles that we can see out here on the track. It looks like we also got a new Pittsburgh jammer, too. Can you catch who that is?
I believe that is number 64, Kid Block. Is that, or is that Go-Go? Sorry, that is, number...
Oh, wait, Kid Block from Columbia. We also have someone
Kid
new
Block
from Pittsburgh.
Columbia. Oh, and I believe that's Forrest Bump jamming for Pittsburgh.
Fun times. All right, 2 new jammers to give us a show with the last minute of the game here.
So this theoretically could be our last jam, but knowing these teams, they're going to call it off, and Columbia's going to say, I want to use my official review as a timeout. I want one more jam.
Yes. Well, when it's the last game of the season, nobody can blame them.
Yes, absolutely. Both of our teams here showing some phenomenal blocker work, keeping these teams together. Kid Block knocking down a Pittsburgh skater here, taking a small little hop, making it all the way up and through, and collecting lead jammer here. Forced bump, still stuck in these Columbia blockers. Has taken off the star to give themselves options.
15 seconds left on the period clock. It is winding down, and our pack is a standstill. This last jam is normally the offensive showcase. On this one, though, it is the blocker showcase. These are not letting anyone go, and our period clock has officially run out. So the end of this jam will be the end of the game.
Oh no! Let's see, Thug Buggerson. No matter jamming or not, is going to collect a cut track.
That's the 6th penalty too. So good thing this is going to be the last jam.
Forced bump here, getting hit out and ran back. And it looks like Kid Block here is also going to be stuck by these Pittsburgh blockers.
Yes. Kid Block is just being held in a tripod
Block trying to make it through the inside.
Yes.
Another nice hit from
forced
number
bump.
56 here on Pittsburgh.
Violet Von Slaughter.
Don't jinx me.
Yeah, these blockers aren't letting anyone go. 20 seconds left in the game, unless it gets called off by Kid Block. And we haven't had any scoring pass get made, but looks like Forrest Bump has taken the star off their head. Oh, and there goes Kid Block. 2 seconds left, makes that pass, gets the points. That is our unofficial score is 293 Columbia to 173 Pittsburgh.
Wow.
That was a great game, you guys.
Now, I don't want to say it until this says official score.
Right. In case any of you didn't know, there's a couple seconds after the last jam ends for a team to call an official review on something that happened in the jam if they wish. Once the time has run out, though, we switch to the final score, and there it is. You want to give it to us, Cosmic?
That is the final score here. There's our final whistle. It's going to be 293. Your fifth place winners, Columbia, and Pittsburgh's 173 for sixth place here.
All right, so we just saw the 5th and 6th best teams in the United States playing for JRDA. That was an amazing game, you guys, and I hope that we can catch you soon for our next game. That is at 10 a.m., so should be starting up here in just about 20 minutes, maybe a little more, and that is going to be the female 3rd and 4th place game, Seattle Derby Brats versus Nashville.
You can see Nashville and Seattle, both teams ready.
Yes, and all right, guys, it has been a great game. I will see you tonight for the championship game. This Pinky Crusher, over and out.